So today we'll be having a look at the Power of the Force 2 Grand Admril Thawn figure. So let's check him out. Okay, so my audio may sound a little bit different than my other videos. I've gotten a new phone recently, and this is my first video doing with it. And they changed the on the new iPhone 17 they changed out the parts the charger in. It's a different cable, and my old microphone thing is made for the older style, so now this one won't work. So they'll say I'm gonna be buying me a new microphone. That's lovely. But anyway, getting into the review here. As you can see, this is the Expanded Universe Power Force 2 line Grand Admril Thawn figure, and I decided to review this figure because I've had it for a while, and in Ahsoka season 2 is sometime next year will be airing, because there's been a lot of stuff about that, and I've been pretty excited for that. So I figured I'd go ahead and review this figure, and which I got this used at a flea market quite a few years ago now. And so let's get into the packaging. Okay, so this is pretty much standard packaging that they use for Power Force 2 line figures. I did a short on this the other day, and I forgot that on my review, Lando. I realized that after I done the short, that's why I titled it the way I did. But so now we're reviewing this one, and so I did get this used at flea markets. So that's why it's got some sticker on it there. As you can see, I paid $3 for this thing, which wasn't too bad. About $1 more than it was originally at Walmart. It was originally $2.76 at Walmart. That was the good old days back then. But as you can see, pretty standard packaging for Power Force 2 line. Got the image of Darth Vader there, covered up by the sticker or something I put on there. But as you see, there's a picture of Grand Admril Thawn there, and with the thing on the shoulder, which I can't remember what it's called. But from the Heir to the Empire novel, which I've never read that all the way through. But see, the package becomes a pretty place, so I'll show you that here in a minute. And you got the bubble containing the figure and everything and its accessories, and so there's one more sticker over the top. And on the back there, you can see, you have the same image there from the front. Got some read-ups. If you want to read all that stuff, you can go ahead and pause it. And as you can see, there's some other figures that are available. And I don't have any of them other ones there, except for this one, obviously. But these ones ain't too bad expensive, so I could probably get those pretty easy. I just haven't really invested in it. But as you can see, this does fold down, which this was already cut out when I got it. That somebody done already cut that out. I didn't do that, but as you can see, you can fold this down. It makes a place in it like a ship or something. So like a Star Destroyer or whatever that's supposed to be. But I'll show you what that looks like with the figure on here in a little bit. So so I can take him out because the bubble came unglued. So because it's kind of old. So starting off with the accessories, first is this blaster right here, which this is the same blaster that come with the Power of the Force 2 Grand Admril Thawn figure, which I unfortunately do not have that figure, but I did remember saying that they come with this exact same blaster. And it's just a flat black. There's no paint details on here. It's kind of sticky because it was in that tape for so long, so it's got a little bit of shine there and it's sticky. But as you can see, that's pretty good detail on it. It's got the barrel, a scope, and everything. Pretty detailed for a tiny little blaster here. But he can hold it in his hand like so. And there's no trigger finger or nothing like that, but he gets kind of a standard grip on it, so it works. And he comes with this thing right here, which I can't remember what it's called, but it's supposed to inhibit the force from any force user when it's around. And unfortunately, this didn't make the translation into canon. They didn't bring it in for whatever reason, but that'd been kind of cool if they did. But and you see, it's got 4 eyes there and all black dots, and it's like a yellow cream color. It's got some details on it, and things like that. Just as you can see, it's shaped to go around his neck, as it usually is in the expanding universe and the things like that. You see, it goes around his neck like so, which looks pretty cool. Helps kind of complete the look. So for articulation, that's going to be pretty simple because these Power Force 2 line figures, didn't stray away from the the classic 5-point articulation, aesthetic, So basically, Grand Admril Thawn here has swivel at the head, a swivel at each arm, a swivel there at the waist, and both swivels at the legs. So technically, basically 5 PLA, but he does have waist articulation there, so he's got 6 points instead of just the normal 5. So he's got an extra point of articulation there. Okay, so still the sculpt design and color of Grand Admril Thawn on with his head. As you can see, he's not as blue as I would like him to be. He's more of like a gray color. I don't know why they went with that, because in the comic books, and like in Rebels and everything, he's a lot more of a blue color. This figure's more of like a flat gray. So I wish they would have went a little more bluish because he is a chest and they're for their blue skin and red eyes. They got the red eyes right, but they got the skin color a little bit wrong there. So he's got black slick back hair, which is a trademark for Grand Admril Thawn. He has his Grand Admril uniform on, which this figure's missing the yellow pauldrons. He's had in the Legends continuity, he had like kind of like regal like pauldrons, and then in Rebels they changed it a little bit. But this figure's missing him entirely. So that's one thing I didn't like about this figure. That to me, that was like a trademark of Thrawn on his uniform, and that's completely missing. So that kind of sucks. But he's got his Grand Admril plaque there on his chest, which is pretty cool. And it's pretty detailed. It's got silver and blue and red, all the colors in it. See, his uniform is white. It's a little bit yellowed and discolored from fading. That happens with older figures. On the back, there's not a whole lot of back there, but there's some wrinkles in his clothes, which is kind of neat. He's got a black belt around his waist and a gold belt buckle, which is pretty cool. Looks like the paint's a little sloppy on there. The end of it's black. Let's see, going down, you got the scene where his uniform closes together. He's got on white gloves, which I don't know if he's supposed to be wearing gloves or if they just didn't paint his hands. I don't know. But, which if they would have painted his hands, it would get a little contrast. So that may be a little bit of laziness right there, in my opinion. But you can see, looks like he's either wearing white gloves or his hands just ain't painted. But you can see, going down on white pants, which are kind of out of the ends, like, that was a thing, real life, the German, in the Nazis wore pants like that were kind of poofed down on the ends. He's also got on black jack boots, which was also another big Nazi German trademark. And as you can see, mine's got a little bit of a paint wear on the tip there. You can see, it's a flat black, not a lot of detail. There's some wrinkles, where the shaft is kind of sag, which is normal for boots to do that. And as you can see on the bottom, there's not a whole lot there, but some information in 1998, I think is what this says. I can't really tell someone to focus. Yeah, 1998 is what that says. So this figure came out in 1998, which is pretty cool. So for comparison time, here is, this vintage Grand Admril Thawn compared to the Black Series one based off the Rebels version. And I think they made one based off the Ahsoka version. I unfortunately do not have that one yet, but, I may end up getting it in the future. Because, Thrawn's one of my favorite characters, so I may end up getting that one in the future too. But as you can see, there's some similarities here and some differences, like I said, with the shoulder pauldrons. But, like I said, they're a little bit different in canon, but, they're still there. It's like a trademark, I said. And you can see the Black Series one, his skin tone is a little more correct. It's a more of a blue than it is gray on the Power Force 2 line there. So here he is on the fold-out packaging, and which looks really cool, but one problem with this is I have to hold it out because it doesn't want to stay flat. As you can see, it wants to fold back up. So that's a little bit of a problem. You have to try to figure this out to really get it to stay in place. But that'd be a really good way to display this figure. So what do I think of this figure overall? It's a pretty good figure. I like it and I enjoyed it. And now it does have a few problems. Like they got his skin tone kind of wrong. I wish they would have done it a little more blue. But like I said, and also if they would painted his hands, the same blue color, so that would have been, a good detail too. They kind of lazy down on that a little bit, but other than that, I do like this figure. And like I said, the missing shoulder pauldrons is another thing that irritates me too. But other than that, it's a pretty good figure. First, Grand Admril Thawn figure it was, and actually I got a good deal on this figure too. I paid like $3 for it. Not much, not a whole lot more than what it was when it was new. I only paid like $1 more than what it was. So, still a pretty good deal. And, so if you like this video and see some more videos like this, give me a thumbs up. It helped me out a lot. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till next time.